Showgirls, 5 minutes to places. 5 minutes to places, all showgirls. Pop
Thank you,
Girl,
five.
it's five.
Thank you, Five.
Thank you, five. Oh, that was the stage manager saying that. We're already in our places, though. That's so crazy.
Yeah, Pop
I guess that's just
Girlies.
the life of a showgirl.
Whoa.
What's the life of a pop girly? Being correct about everything, being normal, being cool, being
Yeah.
funny,
Being level-headed,
being level-headed, um,
kind.
kind. That's the biggest one. Pop girly nation is kind
And
Yeah.
always correct.
and always
And
correct.
actually romantic.
And it's just actually sweet. We're actually sweet and
Yeah.
honestly lovely. Like
Actually respectful.
actually respectful, actually not clinically insane. This weekend I have been privy to like levels of mental illness I don't think have definitions in the DSM. Like actually, yeah. So if you don't know anything, pop girly listener, if you've been living under a rock, this has been, oh girl. So
Oh,
this has been the
girl.
release weekend of Life of a Showgirl. And let's just say I'm a bit battered. I'm a bit of a war-torn veteran, as we should say. I feel like a World War One vet coming home with like marsh foot and like
French foot.
literally trench foot. Yeah. Trench foot, not marsh foot, trench foot. Um, yeah, that's how I feel. How are we all doing?
I'm good. I'm as poet laureate Miley Cyrus once said, forget the haters because somebody loves you.
Oh, that's so true.
Oh,
So
things we need to remember.
I've just been streaming and I just have to say though, I am a kitty cat that lived past 143.
Yeah, that probably if you can do that, you can probably do anything.
So
Maria, how are you doing this lovely Sunday?
I'm doing good. I've been practicing normal media consumption and uh just exercising, having normal reactions to things.
well, a shot was fired at you as, the Gaga playing Beautiful Dirty Rich.
Wait,
I saw a TikTok that she sang Beautiful Dirty Rich last night. And that's what I texted about in the, was that fake?
I don't think I mean, it's rare that I missed something, but I don't think she did. I thought you were talking about how she bowed to So Happy I Could Die.
Oh, I saw a TikTok. It might have been fake, but I saw a TikTok of her in the white outfit after the disease, um, singing Beautiful Dirty Rich.
Oh,
And that's why I
Um,
texted and I was like, Maria,
yeah, I
I
don't
hope you're
think
okay.
I don't think that happened.
Okay, okay.
I also love the implication that I would be like inconsolable.
Well, you would. If she sang Beautiful Dirty Rich without you there.
Girl, I think I'd survive. Like, I think I'd be able to handle it. I've
again, normal media consumption, normal person.
because I mean, so much of the Mayhem Ball experience has been like, oh, she did that song that I love. She bowed to that song. She did the song acoustic and I love it. Like, you just become okay with missing out on things that other people get to
Oh,
experience.
trust me, as somebody who had to live with You're on Your Own Kid being played 92 times,
Every time.
every
Yeah.
time I wasn't there, I'm aware.
Right. But also like, yeah, I mean every time I miss a song that I love, like it's a bummer for sure. So
I
so
know, but
yeah.
you
So
got
I
hair.
obviously get what you're saying,
You
Drew,
got
but
Miss
yeah.
Hair.
Huh?
You got hair. Like you got yours free as your hair.
Girl, we got hair, we got Fashion of His Love. I was so content. I couldn't even stand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's a Prince Bernays. Like it's hair. Like it's
Yeah.
a matching
It's
picture.
hair. I mean, I'll die living just as free as my hair. Come on.
Free as that's mine. I need to get that mantra down, girl. Oh. Uh,
So yeah, we've all had whirlwinds of weekends. And I think let's just get into our hot tracks and we can get right along to the center stage where we will explore the life of a
I
showgirl.
don't know. Do you guys think there's much to talk about with this one? I feel like there's just been no discourse.
There's
No,
been
I
no
haven't heard anything.
discourse.
Actually, it
Everyone
has
is
zero
of the
streams right now. Nobody's listened to it.
yeah, no one paid it any mind.
No, it's gonna debut at 200 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
Okay, Maria, what's your hot track?
So my hot track this week I had quite a busy weekend. One of my besties from my hometown visited me. So I wasn't listening to like a ton of music this weekend, of course, aside from Miss Tay. But a new song that I've liked quite a bit recently is one of the new singles from Tame Impala, and it's called Dracula.
Mm.
And I really like it.
You like Tame Impala, don't you?
Love.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Love. Yeah. I mean, his first three albums are just great. I love him so much. And well, I mean, not to like invalidate everything he made after that, but like just that's like my favorite kind of era of his is like his first couple albums. And I the first couple singles that he's released so far for like his upcoming project, I wasn't like the biggest fan of, and even this one took a little bit to grow for me. But I'm a big fan. I think it's fun. And I'm excited for like another album release from him because it's been since like 2020 or something. It's been a long time. So I'm excited to have like a full project from him again. So yeah, Dracula by Tame Impala is my hot track.
Slay. I need to listen to it. I haven't listened to any of the
Yay.
new stuff.
Yeah, it's so funny because like there's a subreddit where people talk about Tame Impala and it's like mostly just meant to be like memes and like shit posts and it's just funny. And when like the he released the first single from this project, like everyone was pretty much on the same page of like, oh, we're not the biggest fan of it. And someone did a post with that and it was a joke and it was like, I'm a fan of the new song, ask me anything. Like the concept of like everyone's gonna want a Q&A with me because I like the song so
Girl, do
much.
I need to post that on my Instagram story?
Yeah.
You probably
Showgirl.
should.
Ask me anything. Just don't call me a slur, which would be a struggle for some people. So crazy.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm experiencing the life of a mental patient. I need to go. They're about to wheel me to
Yeah.
the apartment. They're like, you thought you were a showgirl? Wrong. You're tortured. You're tortured, hoe.
But we enjoy her torture.
That honestly is, Taylor's kind of the mistress of mayhem if you think about it. She tortures me constantly.
What's like how could we make it where instead of the I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage, it's like I'm not the mistress and this isn't the opera house or
I'm
something.
not the mistress. This isn't mayhem.
I enjoy her torture.
Uh, okay, Drew.
Okay. Um, I was having a very hard time choosing a song this week because I've just been really on my showgirl gig. And before that, I was really just kind of saying goodbye to Tortured Poets, and all of my favorite songs are songs that Levita's already kind of named as hot tracks, which is
Sorry.
great, obviously. Um, so I'm just gonna throw it back to something that will also make and hopefully Levi smile. My my hot track for the very first time is going to be a Madonna song. And it's Runaway Lover from Music.
Whoa. Runaway Lover being your first Madonna hot track.
It doesn't pay to be a runaway lover.
It doesn't. That's what they
Oh
say.
my God.
I have been streaming music so much. I
Because you'll
can't wait
never
for the
get your
day that we
lovin'
talk
back.
about
You'll
it.
never get you'll just
No.
never will get your lovin' back. Ever.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
No
that song is
way.
crazy.
It's one of my favorite Madonna songs ever.
I know you love.
And we
Is it your
need a
number
Madonna
one?
album.
Is it your number one from music or is Gone still your number one?
I'm sorry, Gone. I think I've just listened to Runaway Lover so many times,
Gone, you
but
are
Gone
gone.
is so good.
I mean, it's
It's my
gone.
number
Like
two.
it's gone. It's gone. Like it's
Yeah.
like what are you supposed to say about Gone?
It's just not as Drew bait as Runaway Lover. And
No,
that's
and
just
Gone
it
is so
has to,
Levi Drew bait.
yes.
Levi bait, not Levi Drew.
Yeah.
Levi bait.
Showgirl Levi Drew bait.
Well, we'll get into that. Like I'm scared to even talk about it. I feel like a sniper's gonna come and kill
This is a safe space. Pop Girlies is a safe space. Fuck the haters.
That
Forget the
is true.
haters because somebody loves you.
I need to, friend of the pod, Melissa, made a request
Messiah, yeah.
that we all love, the OG Lana Gator. If you miss her, revisit our Norman fucking Rockwell episode. She made a request to Drew. She said, I'm so excited to listen to the Pop Girlies episode because I need Levi to go. What did she say? Scorched Earth on the Tate Tryers.
Yes. On
I
the
need,
Tay Triers.
I'm kind of feeling vulnerable right now. I need to fathom my anger. Um, I think I'll get there and I will go Scorched Earth eventually. I do think I will get there by the end. I believe in
And
myself.
it's okay if you don't get angry. It's okay
Yeah,
if you're
no,
just
but I'm
happy
pretty
talking
crazy.
about your favorite artist of all time. That
I
is an okay thing for you to be happy with an album that your favorite artist put out, you know?
Yeah, but I'm crazy. I'll probably get there. I don't doubt
Yeah.
myself. I've gotten worked up. Remember when I was screaming about Sabrina Carpenter?
Yep.
What was I saying? I was being,
You were mad at the at people being mad about her being overly sexual and thinking
well,
that she
that's
was
true.
gross, which could come back around in this episode.
It probably will. Um,
Yep.
okay. So my hot track is going to be a Lorde song because
Love.
before Miss Showgirl, made her entrance on stage from stage left, I had been revisiting Virgin because Virgin is an album I loved and adored so much when it came out, but I just like hadn't gone back to it a bunch. And I was like, maybe did I just kind of get like lost up in the hype? And then I revisited it and I was like, wait, no, actually, this is like so incredible.
Yeah.
It's so insane. And so I'm gonna do my number one, I think it was maybe all of our number one tracks when we did Virgin. And also I would say the breakout hit of the album, which is crazy, but David.
Yeah, so David wasn't in my top three.
Oh, okay.
Was
That's
it in yours, Maria?
Yeah, it was like my
it was
number one, I
it was her
thought.
number one, yeah.
Oh,
What was
oh
Um,
yeah, it
it's
was.
not in your top three?
No, Current Affairs is my number one.
oh wait, actually, I'm sorry. My number one was Hammer, and then David was my two.
Oh, so I just made up. So David is
Yeah,
my
you
number
did
one.
make
You
that up.
created a
Yeah.
reality where we all had the favorite song.
Well, people have been creating a lot of crazy realities the last few days. I thought I'd join in on the fun.
Yeah, we're warping narratives, we're creating realities, and we're going off the rails. House down
Yeah.
boots.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna go around and say that my name is like, I don't know, Abraham Douglas, and I'm a 52-year-old like banker because that's my reality. That's the world I live in. I'm actually a pineapple. That's my reality. Like,
Whoa.
And instantly we already got there. You're like,
like
oh, maybe I have the potential to get there in this episode, and 2 seconds later, we're
We
already
literally
here.
have gotten there.
2 seconds later, I'm screaming about being a pineapple. But yeah, David, perfect, beautiful song. It's so incredible. It's
It's so good.
Yeah,
amazing album
amazing.
closer. I love that like this song has been the one to really kind of go viral. I would say the most off of the record. I love the edit trends of like that last chorus, and it's like the split shot. I think those are so cool.
Yeah.
I love them, and yeah, it's just an amazing song. And I'm really sad I didn't get to see Lord live, but
I know.
some things are, as Ethel once said, not on the tour that we went to. She didn't say it, but she did once a long time ago. If it's meant to be, then it will be.
Ah,
Phoebe
ah.
Rexa also said that. She
Yo,
also did.
you were severely missed at the ultrasound tour.
I know the bitches couldn't handle somebody as esoteric as me. Like they just couldn't. They couldn't. They wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
They just couldn't
Not a chance.
understand the levels that I would bring to it. I mean, when
Yeah.
I went to Solar Power Tour, I befriended I was talking to everybody. I was friends.
I befriended the girl behind me at the ultrasound tour.
Literally, there was two because it was three of us. We were all sitting by ourselves, and we all ended up holding hands by the end of the night. One girl flew from Colombia to be there.
Oh my
Look, Lord
God.
concerts are so
They're
fun. The
literally
like
like,
group of people that come together for that.
yes, because it's like everybody's just like you, like a
Yeah.
somebody who was depressed in high school. Like that's the
Yeah.
kind of person who like it's too online. And
The girl behind me, Oceanic Feeling was her number one Lord song, which is like, okay, T. And she sang it. and she was like crying, and so I like hugged her when she was crying.
Aw.
And then at the end when Lord did ribs, because I was sitting in front of her and she came into the B stage, which we were super close to the B stage. She goes, "Turn around." And she like took my picture with Lord
Oh
and
my
then tried to
God.
airdrop me the photos and it didn't work. But yeah. So that was like the community that I was
It's
building.
community. It's
And she goes, the first thing she says to me is like during, I think it was right after Supercut, she goes, "Fave album, what is it? Fave Lord album, what is it?" I'm like, uh, Melodrama? And she goes, "Correct."
I thought it
Fave
was Virgin.
album now.
It is Virgin, but I was really scared. That's the first thing someone asks you. You have to play it safe.
You have to say melodrama. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but also like there's no stakes in getting into a fight like that with someone you don't know. Like be bold
Well,
and be
you would think that it would be weird to
And
get
on
into
that note,
fights, with people you don't know about a music opinion. You think that would be
you
a,
think it would be low
a
stakes.
sign of brain cognitive malfunctioning,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
unfortunately, unfortunately, in Trump's America, that's just not true.
it's not
It's
true.
not true. It's not true. People have
So,
been infested. Probably it's because everybody's been taking Tylenol for so long that's why, you know, everyone's crazy. I don't take Tylenol. I take a leave, baby. So I'm Miss Normal. So
Hashtag Advil.
yeah. Fuck
it's
y'all.
extra strength, bitch.
Yeah. Girl, Pepto if I need it, a little tummy problem. Maybe do a little Tums if I need. I don't do Tylenol. You'll never catch me slipping. So should we get into this? Me being like, I don't think I'm gonna be crazy. I think I'm too sad. And now I'm
Listing off
Now we're
everything that
joking
needs
about
medication.
Tylenol.
well, you know what? Some people should be scared because when we get into the meat of the conversation, we're gonna introduce the album, of course, give Tay her blessings and talk about success and everything.
Well, because
Um,
she's obviously listening to this because
well, she's my close personal friend, Taylor Swift.
yeah,
And we're the tastemakers.
We are
So
we're the taste makers.
she's the top investor of Pop Girly Stadium.
Oh, of course, of course.
She'll have a drink. She'll have a meal deal.
She has a level, like the box level is like the Taylor Swift executive suite level.
Yes,
and then on the menu, there's like, you said a chicken finger combo, and then there's like the condiments and
seemingly
seemingly
ranch.
ranch. So
Seemingly ranch, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And if you actually Tay try in the Pop Girlies Stadium, you get shot on site.
Yeah,
Le-
Sorry, it's true. That's actually in the Geneva
satire.
Convention.
Okay, satire
We've
and
we've
also
already
tag.
introduced violence into a Taylor Swift episode. This is again satire.
Well,
Satire, and
nobody's
let's just
thinking I'm
say
gonna kill anyone.
Well, we just have to preface this because we are posting this on the internet.
No one's think.
satire, this
Well,
is
actually, people
satire.
are crazy. Yeah. So satire, satire, satire,
Yeah.
satire,
Yeah.
whatever.
Satire, and this is a safe space for people with opinions about music, and be
Yeah.
respectful about it. And people are allowed to have different opinions. You're allowed to dislike something, you're allowed to like something. And like we said before, it's so important to just be respectful when you're talking to people. You're allowed to have a different opinion as somebody else, and be kind and follow the doctrine of pop girlies of respecting one another and having level-headed conversations with one another about music. So
Yeah, and
don't
that goes for both sides because, like, I don't want to hear no Swifties being crazy.
Be
right.
free.
The only
Be
Swift who's
free.
allowed to be crazy, I would say, is me.
Sure.
Okay, let's get into this.
Get
So,
into it.
if you don't know, a few days ago, Taylor Swift has
Oh,
released her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl. So, to set the scene, like I just said, this is her 12th studio album. It follows the release of her 11th studio album from last year, The Tortured Poets Department. If you are interested in hearing the pop girlies and their correct opinions, talk about it some more. I would encourage you to go to the Tortured Poets episode. That's actually one of my favorite episodes. I think it's really fun, and I think we have a really cool conversation. But yeah, so Tortured Poets was a release during in the middle of Eras Tour. It got nominated for 6 Grammys, didn't win any. Was generally, I would say, a pretty polarizing release. Um, Very commercially successful. It actually just got certified 8 times platinum, which is like just a little over a year, which is absolutely crazy to me. But yeah, that's a record that I think is loved a lot by fans in a way that is more intense than it is loved by like the general public. And I would say people who were critical of that album were critical of its length because including the anthology, it's 31 songs that were all released that same night. I think they were critical of just the wordiness of it, the kind of dreary aesthetic, the moody production. They were critical of her ongoing collaborations with Aaron Dester and specifically Jack Antonoff. And I think there was this kind of desire for her to switch it up. Little did we were also happy that day. It was actually hard to imagine how terrible things would soon become when said person does switch it up. It also follows up the end of the Eras Tour. I don't think I need to explain what the Eras Tour is. Biggest tour of all time, cultural phenomenon, the cause of 2023's Taymania. It is the highest grossing concert ever with an ending gross of $2.077 billion. Another big news story from the beginning of this year is Taylor was able to buy back her masters and reclaim the original master recordings to her first 6 albums. Again, this is a dispute that I think is very well publicized. I don't really feel the need to get into it. Obviously, she had released 4 Taylor's versions of her original 6 albums. She had released Taylor's versions of Fearless, Red, Speak Now, in 1989. And I think there was this like universal kind of clowning with Taylor Swift fans that Reputation was coming, Reputation was coming. And so it was a real shock on May 30th, 2025, when she announced that she had actually been able to purchase the rights back from Shamrock Capital, which was the group that had currently owned the master recordings. And it was a very emotional moment. I had a very emotional time listening to the original recordings again because I had been listening to them. I'd been listening to the Taylor's versions. And so, yeah, so she's in a very interesting place. Obviously, her relationship with Travis Kelce is going great. Right after she announced, literally the day that she announced the record, she got proposed to, and now she's engaged, and that's a huge thing. So, a lot is happening in the Taylor Swift realm. And something else is happening too. TS12. There's a showgirl at play. So this record was announced in a really interesting way. On August 11th, New Heights, which is the sports podcast hosted by Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce. I say sports podcast. It's kind of like lately like delved into just more of like a talk show because like they're having so many different people on that like aren't sports related. Like they just had Leonardo DiCaprio on for his new film One Battle After Another. So it's becoming more of a cultural thing. But on August 11th, they announced that they had a new mystery episode coming out with a very special guest. And that same day, that same morning, Taylor Nation, Taylor's like official team, posted 12 different pictures of her wearing orange dresses from the Eras tour. And alongside each post was the red flame emoji, like red heart with flames all around it. That day, a countdown appeared on her website that would end at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when it ended, the album was announced on her website with the title available for pre-order. The cover was not announced yet, and it was confirmed that she would be appearing on the New Heights podcast and announcing the album there. The episode came out on August 13th, and it was her first podcast interview. It's the longest video slash audio interview that we've had from her since Apple Music's Zane Lowe interview in 2020 for it's kind of like a joint thing for Folklore and Evermore. It came out the weekend Evermore came out though, because she was named the Apple Music Songwriter of the Year that year. So she had like a big like hour-long sit down with him. This was longer than that. This was 2 hours, and it was such a cool like thing to watch and listen to as a fan because we got to hear her perspective on things in a setting that she was very comfortable with. Jason Kelce randomly decided to be Barbara Walters and like be so excellent at interviewing. I like it was like weird. He missed Diane Sawyer. It was crazy. We got to hear about her response and the journey to buying the Masters back, her life after the Eras tour, so many things before, towards the end, she formally announces and describes the life of a showgirl and reveals the standard title, which is of her in that like teal bathtub with the like beautiful rhinestone diamondy like corset thing. And so she introduced the album as a big pop record inspired by her time on the Eras tour and what was happening in her life during the summer of 2024 when she was on the European leg. And so that's when it was recorded. And it was recorded during her off days and breaks in Sweden. And because we're in Sweden, you can guess it's a reunion with pop geniuses Max Martin and Shellback. If you don't know who they are, specifically Max Martin is responsible for almost every like major pop hit of the last like 30 years. He is so important to the history of pop music. I think he's officially the most successful songwriter of all time on the Billboard Hot 100. I think he's passed the songwriting team of Paul McCartney and John Lennon. And then Shellback was one of his proteges, who's also like very, very accomplished as well. They had collaborated with Taylor on all the pop songs on Red, the majority of 1989, and the majority of Reputation. They hadn't collaborated with each other since Reputation. So it had been like 7, 8 years. And Taylor kind of reached out to them, was like, I would love to work with you guys again. I feel like I've developed and changed so much as an artist. I think you guys have as well. And she said something really interesting in that New Heights interview that I thought was cool. She talked about how her and Shellback are around the same age, and Max Martin's older than them. I think it's maybe like 20, 15 years older. And so they said when they first were working together, it felt like Max was like the mentor figure, and that Shellback and Taylor were like kind of the ingenues, like learning from him. And she described this experience as like all of them being on equal footing, which I thought was really cool. She said that she has different goals every time she records a record. So Tortured Poets was strictly lyrical in terms of its goals. Her goals this time around were focused on melodies that were so ridiculously catchy, they'd be stuck in your head to a point where you'd get mad at them. And she wanted to kind of keep some of this like evocative, narrative driven storytelling that she had been utilizing since folklore, but like make it a bit crisper, not as lyrical or poetic or metaphorical as Tortured Poets was. So yeah, so it was announced in August and it's kind of been slowly unveiled since then. Obviously, as is kind of typical with Taylor releases now, we don't hear what it sounds like before. We don't get a lead single. And so yeah, we're gonna jump forward to this weekend. The album was released on October 3rd, 2025. Alongside the album, a musical film titled The Official Release Party of a Showgirl was released only for the opening weekend in movie theaters to accompany the release of the record. And I went to it today. I thought it was so much fun. It's like nothing groundbreaking, but it was just like fun, a very cool thing to experience opening weekend. And I definitely needed it after having some of my spirits dampened a bit. It had the premiere of the Fate of Ophelia video, which I'm sure Drew and I will probably talk about later. It's so fucking good. Lyric videos for every song. Before each song was played, she talks about the inspiration and writing process, which I love when she talks about that. That's always what I want to hear the most about. I love when she talks about her creative process. And there were things that she said about some of these songs that like kind of like added depth and layer to the record uh, and my understanding of the songs. There was also a lot of behind the scenes footage of her creating the music video, which was also really, really cool. Just to kind of see how she works and how her mind works. And it's cool because like she would just like be talking and coming up with ideas, and like everything that she says ends up in the video. And so you can really like tell who the creative like generator behind everything is. Like it's all really is coming from her, even though she obviously has collaborators who are bringing their talents and perspective and expertise. Like every single thing she says, she describes how she wants the shot to look. She describes every single thing about it. So it was really cool to see all that. Yeah, the album has 12 tracks. She really wanted to have a really cohesive, focused, tight track list. 12 is very, very short for her. She only has one standard track list that's shorter, which is her self-titled debut, only has 11 songs in the standard track list, but it also has a deluxe edition. And she said that there are no extra songs coming. There's no deluxe edition. These are the 12 songs that she wanted to put out as part of this project. Musically, it definitely lives in the pop world, but it's, I would say, a pop that we haven't really seen from her before. Specifically, it's very different from her previous work with Max Martin and Shellback. There's a lot of kind of eclectic influences. I think there's influences of like soft rock, pop rock, disco, like kind of like early 2000s pop rock. There's a lot of guitars. There's a Motown influence. There's a groove to a lot of these songs. There's like a funky element. I think that this record, the biggest thing musically I think of when I think of this album is the bass lines. I think the bass is the driving factor in so many of these songs, which is really, really cool. The Fate of Ophelia, upon its release, well, it serves as the lead single, and it broke the single day streaming record for any song in Spotify history, debuting with 30 million streams just in one day. The album debuted with 250 million streams, becoming the second most streamed album in one day ever after Tortured Poets Department. Tortured Poets Department has 314 million first day, but that also had 31 songs. And so the average stream for that first day for Tortured Poets was about 10 million. And Taylor, with only 12 songs, doubled it. So this also broke the record for highest average streams in one day, which was 20 million, like 20, almost 21, actually. Uh, it also after one day of release, it became the highest single day of sales ever recorded in the United States with 2.7 million copies sold. A lot of that obviously is including like pre-orders and stuff. Um, Already just with that, it becomes the second largest week ever. Uh, right now, the record is held by Adele's 25, which debuted in 2015 with 3.4 million copies sold first week. And I think that like I kind of think that this is it to like there if anyone's ever going to beat it, it would be Taylor. I mean, Adele herself was unable to cross that million copies sold mark with 30. It sold in the like 800,000 range, which is still crazy, especially in this climate that physical copies aren't sold the way that they used to be sold. But I definitely think that this has a shot of beating the Adele record. I don't want to like put my foot in my mouth and say it's definitely going to beat it and seem like biased or crazy, but like I I wouldn't be surprised and I definitely think it's possible. Um Even with that said, this is her eighth album to debut with over a million copies first week, which is the most for anybody ever. I think I think the second most is like some people have two. So it's just such an accomplishment. Even if it doesn't reach that Adele record, I think it's just as impressive to be able to do it so many times. And like her first one was in 2010 and it's 2025. So that's 15 years of albums debuting with that much number. Critically, this has been a very polarizing release. It currently sits at a 73 on Metacritic. I'm expecting that to change. I mean, the Pitchfork review is going to drop tomorrow, and I'm not expecting it to be kind or fair. I would go so far to say that. I don't really think it's going to be fair. Um, but there have been some surprisingly positive reviews. The main music critic of the New York Times has not been a fan of her last four releases. He actually got death threats for which I don't support. Anything I say is joking. I don't support death threats for anything. It's wrong, 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 wrong. Bad, 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 bad. Poop, 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 poop. But he got like crazy backlash because he was the person that knocked Folklore off of the 90s in Metacritic because it has an 88 right now because he gave it a 60. And yeah, he's been critical of like this kind of slower tempo, and he gave Tortured Poets, I mean not Tortured Showgirl, a great score, and it got critics pick, which was huge. Rolling Stone gave it a perfect score, and it's gotten its like fair share of like 4 out of 5 stars, but it's also gotten more mixed reception and then negative reviews. I think that some people really are gravitating towards this lighter production and the really breezy feel of it, the joyful, playful lyrics. And then I think other people are not really impressed with the sound or the lyrical content, um, especially when stacked up to previous works, which is something that we can get into. So, yeah, I think I did a pretty good job. I would also want to say if anybody was confused by all of our ranting and raving, this album, I've never seen anything cause this level of like discourse, and I've been a Taylor Swift fan since she started putting out music, and like there's always discourse and craziness around Taylor, and there's always like insane opinions. I mean, I'll never forget in 2017 she got like burnt at the stake, metaphorically, for saying that she had a good year. I will never forget the endless essays that came out, like accusing her of being MAGA and being like a white supremacist for daring to say that in the first year of the Trump presidency, she had a good year, when a lot of other celebrities said the same thing if they weren't given that same treatment. Like, I'm used to this for Taylor. This has been a different level. I have seen a level of like bad faith criticism that I've personally never really encountered. I think it's fair if you don't like this record. I mean, I think it's fair if like sonically this isn't your jam. I think it's fair if you're not drawn to the kind of poppier, sillier side of Taylor. Like, she's before described, Marie, I'm not sure if you know this. I'm no Drew knows this, but she has said this thing that I think is really interesting. She categorizes her songwriting in three different categories. There are different types of pens that she writes with. So she has quill pens, which she deems her most like poetic, the biggest use of figurative language. She always describes them as like kind of like old timey and like fantastical. The majority of her work, she says, is fountain pen, which is like I like, and all too well is like a fountain pen. It's like just like really polished, excellent lyricism. You're probably like twisting like well-known phrases. And then there's glitter gel pen songs, which are the really fun, silly, frothy, goofy songs. So like 22 is glitter gel, Shake It Off is glitter gel. You Need to Calm Down would be glitter gel. And I definitely think that this album as a whole falls into glitter gel. I think this is a very glittery, fun pop album to reflect this triumphant period of her life. And I think some people just aren't a fan of that kind of Taylor, and I think that's fine. I think the level of vitriol does not match this album, the album's quality, or people expressing their love for her and the album. I have been on the receiving end of, I can't tell you how many like condescending at best and like insane at worst messages directly to me, like DMs, text messages from people, uh belittling me for the release of the album, not just saying I don't like the album, but making fun of me, being like, oh, I love you anyways despite this, or like, this is your only flaw. um I'm not going to say the craziest thing just because I don't really want to put it out there, but like, I was called an insane thing on Friday morning and compared to like an evil group of people just for loving Taylor Swift. As somebody who's always like, Swifties are always being accused of being brainwashed and being a cult and like being crazy and blah blah blah. Like, I feel like I've been gaslit because I have been at the receiving end of a level of insanity and delusion that is just I've never seen before. Like, I'm gonna put it on the record. No, I don't think Wishlist track 8 is about eugenics. I don't think so. I don't think it's pushing MAGA propaganda to want to have kids. I actually think that that's a problem that the left is struggling with. I think the reason why the right is currently winning the culture war is because they're alienating people, because they're telling young people who want to start families that they are conservative and MAGA for wanting to do so, which I, I don't believe. I think it is normal and a beautiful thing if you want to get married and have kids. I think everybody should be allowed to do whatever they want. And I feel crazy having to say this, having to make a statement to say, no, I don't think it is white supremacist to want children and to like have a fun comment of like, oh yeah, like I want to just be around a whole bunch of our kids and like they all look like you and I'm so happy. Like, no, I don't think that lyric on Wishlist is saying that she is experiencing white flight and wants a homogenized neighborhood where only white people are allowed to live in. I think that's crazy. And I actually think comments like that reflect more on the person who say them than anything Taylor says.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like so often people try to be so woke that I just think they end up being like horribly offensive. Like there's a huge subset of fans, I say that in quotations because I'm going to get into that in a second, who, and they've said this with Midnights, well, especially with Torture Poets and Showgirl, which is funny because the style of songwriting on both is just so different. But they've said, wow, like Joe really must have ghost written all of Folklore. Joe Alwyn, Taylor's ex-boyfriend of 6 years, famously actor who it has not a very illustrious career and can only be like the sixth highest billed supporting character in a film. I would not say, if he can't be successful in his own field, I doubt that he's writing Folklore and letting Taylor put her name on it. And I've always thought that she was a lot more generous with letting him have songwriting credits than he needed to be. And it's insane that I'm saying, like, it's so crazy that I'm saying all this. But like,
Wait, Joe has songwriting credits?
yeah. So he has songwriting credits. Yeah, that was like a thing. They used a pseudonym, William Bowery. So he on
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Folklore,
yeah.
he co-wrote Exile and Betty. And actually something that I wish he hadn't have done, because at the time the Grammy rules were that in order for a producer or songwriter to get an award for album of the year, they'd have to have 33% like effort on the album. And so retroactively, she added him to be a producer on all the Jack Antonoff songs so he could get a Grammy as well.
That's
Which is
quite
like, I'm
generous.
like, why did you do that? Like, I wouldn't have done that personally. Like, I get that you want your man to have a Grammy, but now we have insane people saying, like, literally in the pursuit of being a feminist and empowering women, accusing a man who's not even successful in his own field of being the secret genius behind everything. Like, first of all, if we're
That's
gonna take that like rhetoric, did he also write Me? Like, is Joe also the songwriter of Me, the worst song ever released to humanity? Like, or is he only the writer of the good songs? Just to be clear. Also, did he secretly write Red and Speak Now? Speak Now, where she's the only credited writer, but Joe Alwyn, before they even met, when he was just a loser in a yogurt shop, he must have secretly been writing all of those songs. It's the only possible explanation, because how dare the most accomplished songwriter of the 21st century actually be the writer of her music? It's weird. That's weird. That doesn't make any sense. Let's just say it's a man's job. The thing that people don't get, let me explain something to you really slowly so everyone can understand. I think that people have a misunderstanding of what, in my opinion, is like the mark of her genius as a songwriter. I think people think it's solely her ability to write songs like All Too Well, or like to write an album like Folklore, to write these like beautiful, deep, evocative, visual lyrics that are devastating. And that definitely is part of her skill set. She's so good at that. But to me, I think her versatility as a songwriter is the thing that I think is so insane. That she can write a song like All Too Well, but also write a perfect, polished, like steel dynamite pop hit like Blank Space. Like that is so hard to do. It's so hard to write a good song in general. It's so hard to write in different genres, in different styles, with different goals, while still maintaining the same artistic identity. That to me is her genius. That she can be Joni Mitchell, but that she can also be Madonna. That she can be Bob Dylan, but she can also be Michael Jackson. Like that she can be the biggest pop star, but she can also be a singer-songwriter writing folk songs in a cabin, or a country starlet with cowboy boots and bright eyes. That is the genius of Taylor Swift. And so I think people don't appreciate the frothier stuff when some of my favorite Taylor songs are frothy songs. Lover, I love Lover, and Lover is so frothy and fun. It's just crazy to me. My last rant that I want to make before I open up the floor is I think that we need to reevaluate like fan culture and stan culture. I think that nobody wants to miss out on anything. I think that we like as a culture that's tuned in to what's happening in like pop culture and music, film, whatever. We don't like missing out. We like to be a part of stuff. Like everyone wants to be part of stuff. When Taylor released Folklore and Evermore, it kind of became cool, quote unquote, to like her again. And I remember seeing the switch up in real time. I remember seeing people who dismissed her, made fun of me, thought she was bad, suddenly being like, whoa, this is actually really good. And then going back to previous albums and being like, whoa, like, wait, like 1999's good, or like Reputation's good. Like Fearless is good. Like that's crazy. I thought she was just some silly star. This there was an era of goodwill towards Taylor where like it was kind of cool to like her. And I would say that started to turn in the middle of 2023 during the Eras Tour, when the Eras Tour became this just like insanely big thing, bigger than anything anybody could have ever predicted it being. I think that that's when stuff started to shift back a little bit. But the Eras Tour was also one of those moments where I think a lot of people saw the TikToks and saw the videos and saw people making friendship bracelets and going to the tour and making their costume, that they wanted to be a part of that. And so I think there are a lot of people who I think claim to be a like level of devoted, die-hard Swiftie when they're not. I think it is okay to be a casual fan of something and of someone. I think it's okay to have an artist where you're like, oh, I love this album. Listen to the next one. I don't know if it's for me. That's okay. I actually think that's really normal. And that's, I think, the way that the majority of music is probably consumed. There are definitely albums that I love so much where I'm not really invested in anything from the artist elsewhere. I think there are people who actually are like that for Taylor, but because they want to be part of the thing that's like the huge thing to be in, they call themselves these diehard crazy fans, and then they get so mad when she doesn't deliver the kind of Taylor that they like. Like she's not just folklore Taylor. She's bejeweled. She's bejeweled, and a diamond's got to shine. As we would know from Midnight's if we did our research and educated ourselves. You think a showgirl is going to be tortured forever? You think a showgirl is going to be in a cabin forever, be exiled? No, no. She's got a show to put on. She's got her tits to show. She's got her little sparkly stuff to do. She's got to talk about her dick size. That's what she's got to do. And you're going to sit down and eat your fucking food if you want to be such a diehard. Okay. And if you don't, that's okay. You don't have to be. You can leave the party anytime you want. The train makes a stop every 13 minutes. So if you want to leave, get off the train. Bye bye. You can fondly recall your memories and maybe you can get on again. It's okay to be a casual listener of something. Because I'm so sick of people who claim to love her so much telling me I'm crazy for liking the album. And the same thing happened with Tortured Poets. And it's insane that this weekend I've seen so many people be like, wow, she really fell off from Tortured Poets. It's like, you all said it was so bad. Like, oh my God. Did I just imagine 2024? Like, is Kamala actually president? Like, was this all a fever dream? Like, am I like living in cuckoo crazy land? Like, did we forget all of that? Did we forget about everything that happened? I think that's what I have to say for now. Not even talking about the music, just everything else.
Yeah.
I think I hit everything. I think I hit it.
Yeah. And something I think to add on to all of that, kind of something that you said before about like online stan wars, and especially with like Twitter and how it just becomes like this toxic rabbit hole where it's like we're not even talking about real life anymore. Like I think something too with like the life of a showgirl of it all is like Taylor versus Charlie and all of this stuff. And I feel like everyone just needs to take a second and remember that we don't know these people.
Yes.
These are celebrities that don't exist in our world, and like kind of like you said before, Levi, like when you like really love an artist and you stand them, like there is like a certain percentage of like parasocial relationship that like kind of gets created there, and you just have to like remember to stay grounded and not let yourself get too carried away. But like everyone needs to just remember we don't know these people, and it's just don't get too crazy. And I don't know, there's just lots of craziness going on online, like you've said, Levi, where it's just like, okay, what are we talking about? We need to just take a second, and maybe we don't need to put online everything that we think. And We don't need to make others feel bad for like having certain opinions or enjoying something or disliking something. Like it's okay that others don't share your exact opinion. So please.
There is a way to say negative opinions. Like I don't, because I think some people, I've seen some Swifties be like, "Oh, you guys just hate fun." It's like, no, I think it's valid not to like this. I think it's valid not to like anything except for folklore. That was satire, 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 satire. Before people start canceling me, unless you like your friends canceled and you're whiskey sour, then by all means cancel me away, mama. But like there is a way to do that without resorting to calling people fascists for liking something. Like you can communicate things that you don't like. Pop girlies, I dare you to listen back to some episodes where Maria didn't like an album, or Drew didn't like an album, or I didn't like an album. Did any of us attack each other for liking something? Did any of us say people are brain dead for liking it? No. If you can articulate constructively and eloquently, like adults with language skills, what you don't like. Do you not like the production? Do you not like the vocals? Do you not like the themes? Are the lyrics working for you? What do you like about it? I want to know. If all you say is this is shit, you're so stupid, I hate you. Well, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, okay, now what? Do you need me to recommend a therapist? Girl, you want me to pop you some of my duloxetine? I mean, what is happening at home? If we are so mad that she wants to sing on a Motown song about Travis Kelce's dick, let her. Like, haha, it's a joke. It's funny. Laugh, haha.
You're
Do
an
you have
adult. It's
anything to say
pretending
to
to
the
sing at
haters
it.
and losers or
Well,
not?
what'd you say? Sorry, I talked over you.
No, not I asked Drew and he just didn't respond.
Oh
Wait,
no.
what? Sorry, I didn't hear you. You and Maria were talking at the same time.
I said, Drew, do you have anything to say? And then
Oh,
you just
I mean,
barely
yeah,
said that.
I have a lot of thoughts on the album. Yeah.
Well, do you have anything to
Um,
say like about this stuff, or is that
about no,
tied into your thoughts?
it'll tie into my thoughts.
Okay, so do you want to just take the floor
I
now?
primarily though, I've tried to stay away from it, to be honest. Yeah. Uh, I haven't like personally been too affected by it. Yeah.
Well, so then
But no, amazing points being made, obviously, as someone who obviously is such a diehard. Um, yeah,
Anne Maria, who's not a diehard, but is just a normal person who is able to be normal. Like you're just normal. You're just
yeah.
Like, thank
crazy,
God.
crazy. Okay, Drew, I
I
want you to
just
start us off.
okay, yeah. Um, so obviously I am a huge diehard Swiftie. I love Miss Swift. Um, like probably my second favorite artist of all time. And loved her since like it all began. So obviously every time she puts something out, I am seated and ready and here for it. Um, so yeah, so kind of going on kind of the rollout of the album, I really loved the idea of her kind of putting it out through like an interview with Travis. I feel like specifically, we haven't seen her as like happy as she is, specifically in like a relationship setting. Obviously engaged, is willing to like be very public about her relationship with Travis. And I think that that shows in the music. Obviously, there's a song about his dick. So obviously, like she's very open and honest about her affection, which is I mean, come on, like I think do we just want to see her miserable or like can we just like let her have her tea, you know? Um so yeah, I also went to the release party with Melissa, a friend of the pod. We had a really great time. Um
Was
I
I
was a
was I not there?
no, the AMC release party at the movies.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
when we went out. I was like, got it, wasn't there.
No. The release party at the
Like
movie
the
theater.
film at the movie theater.
Yeah, they called it the release party.
Got it.
Yeah. Um, So yeah, it was really great. I loved seeing the music video and seeing like the behind the scenes. Did I think it was like completely necessary? No, but I think it was like insanely fun and exciting and yeah, I mean it was fun to like be in a community of people because I mean the kind of discourse about it, I mean I'd heard from a lot of people at work who fall into the same kind of category that Levi was talking about. Just like just kind of questioning. I think that's been, I think, the most like kind of confusing part of this weekend because as someone who obviously such a diehard, I'm here for every Taylor Swift album. It's was really interesting because I listened to it on Thursday night and I didn't look at any thoughts. I just had my own thoughts and I mean, spoiler alert, I think it's fucking phenomenal. Um, And so I went to work the next day, kind of expecting to just kind of talk about how genius it was, how I thought it was really great. Um, and a lot of people who I thought had been really, I mean, like who I thought would be target audience to love it, you know, really weren't fans of it. And so that's when I kind of started getting ideas of, oh, well, maybe like maybe it is something that, you know, is maybe I am just kind of super biased, whatever. But I think Levi's exactly right. I think, and I mean, and I don't mean to like insult anyone who is kind of, I mean, I hate to say like the word bandwagoner, but like someone who hopped on at a later time than most of the people who would call themselves like diehard Swifties. Um, and so I don't know. I think that you can have hopped on later in the Swiftie realm. Like I think obviously there were so many fans who came on for the Eras tour. There's so many fans that came on during the Folklore Evermore era. You have to understand that like that a lot of this album not only is just different from that, but I loved how much she tied in so much of how she wrote songs in the past to this album. Like, um, something that I have found so interesting, especially with like new Swifties that I would call it, is so many people, and this is something that I've been mad about seeing on like TikTok, you know, so many people posting like where it ranks among other albums, whatever. So many people fucking hate Speak Now.
Why,
And I
why,
have
how
seen
could you do that?
so like I hate Life of a Showgirl, but then like also talking again how they fucking hate Speak Now when I'm like, okay, you guys, so we have completely lost it because Speak Now is like
It's the most
has
Taylor
to
Swift, Taylor
it
Swift
is the
album.
most Taylor Swift album ever. There's no and I hate to say this to like but it really is. Like, I'm sorry. This, you can tie back almost any song to early Speak Now. Any song on Speak Now, you see ties of it in future albums.
Drew,
You
I think with different production and maybe different melody a little bit, Ruin the Friendship totally could have been.
is so sweet.
Yeah.
It's so it's just really alarming to me that people are just so dismissive of this, but it's also like something where and I mean it sucks that like obviously so much hatred has been going on online. It's the worst thing ever. Obviously like last year with Katie with the whole 143 thing, it was like so annoying to then like have to look at anything online and then like try to enjoy an album that you want to enjoy and do enjoy. I think though, I think since then I especially with Taylor, I've really learned to like if I like it, then I like it and I don't care what you have to think. Like and I don't mean that to say like I think your opinion is invalid. I just unfortunately like I know in my head that if you don't recognize specific things that someone I mean like Levi and I been here the whole time, you know, been here since the debut phase in real time. I'm not just someone who likes the debut album. I was there for the debut album, owned it, whatever.
We were there when that Ancient
It's
Magic was written, honey.
literally, so it's just like, I guess, I guess it's all just very telling to me. That's all I'm gonna say about like Shade,
Drew, I,
whatever.
I actually can't believe that I can't fathom a Swiftie putting Speak Now like at their last Taylor Swift.
There is a very famous TikToker
That's so crazy.
who is trusted a lot for her Swiftie opinions.
And she has it 12, ranked 12.
She has it under debut. And she
Oh
is a very
my
prominent
God.
TikToker, and I'm
People
not
are
going to
just
say
saying
names because I
anything.
don't mean to spread hate, but like, yeah.
That
So it's like it's just like
it's so
it
crazy.
it's so it and it's so hard to be
Oh
like
my
mad about
God.
it because obviously this is like albums from someone that we don't know, but like it is someone that like has been so major to development. Like I wouldn't have music taste if I wasn't a Swiftie, whatever. But anyway, I want to get into more of the album
Yes,
because I think that's
please.
really important. So I personally, something else, the only qualm that because I have seen a lot of discourse online, specifically the Friday. So after everyone had kind of listened to it, I was kind of looking into discourse, specifically from a lot of the Katy cats that I follow, who aren't annoying. Um, I do understand a lot of people going into it with a different idea because of this showgirl concept. I think a lot of times, I understand kind of wanting something different besides like a super. I mean, this is like for the most part pure pop. I mean, this isn't like a showgirl Vegas album. That's not what this is. However, I do think we need to like be mindful that you can have a concept for an album that is based on the lyricism of the album and not so much of like the sonic sound of the album. So like that wasn't something that bothered me. And I found a lot of this discourse also happened during Midnights, and I feel like Midnights to me was the first album that she put out, and a lot of the imagery and a lot of the photo shoots, whatever, especially because now in recent Swiftie times, she doesn't give you a hint of a song or a snippet before the album comes out, which I actually really like. But a lot of times I think the concepts and the imagery and the photo shoots can kind of present like a little bit of confusion when an album comes out and it's not exactly what you think it is going to be because of the images. And I was seeing a lot of discourse about that online for this. I think they wanted something more like orchestral or like grandiose or whatever. And I understand that, but having lived through Midnights, I didn't go in thinking it was going to be a Showgirl album. Um, so yeah, and I think also, I was trying to think like what did they want this to be called? Because it's like I think the idea of it being a showgirl album, obviously Taylor's very conceptual, but I think you can be conceptual of an album and not make it a concept album. Like I think it's obviously so conceptual because she wrote it obviously coming through the Eras tour. And I mean a showgirl is like a perfect metaphor for her. I mean, she's this huge star who'd had to just like put on and perform whatever. Um, and I mean the photo of the album cover is so perfect. It's her, in a bathtub in this outfit, so physically and emotionally drained, but then having this, it's just like an autobiographical moment of her as a showgirl on this huge journey that she went on. So I personally did not have that qualm with it. I actually love the showgirl imagery of it all. Is it my favorite concept or photo shoot that she's done? Probably not, but I love it. So yeah, and I also think this album, there are so many like lyrical highlights, but I think the main component for me is I think she sounds and is produced so amazing. So many vocal highlights on this, but also so many melodic highlights. I think she's spot on. She really gave us everything that we I mean, she said everything that she said on the New Heights podcast about the album, I found to be very accurate. These melodies are so, so, so catchy. Um, and the production's great. I love all of it. And there's only one song that I still haven't fully come around to, which I'll get into. It's obviously going to be my me. But yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to say, obviously, besides like loving it, and I'll get into the tracks that I specifically love, I think, um, I think we need to recognize as, consumers of Taylor Swift that there is a huge difference between like cringy and comedic. I think, and this is coming from someone who loves Katy Perry, like there is a huge difference to me. I personally, I don't like cringy music. I think, and that's something that there's so many Taylor songs that I'm not the biggest fan of because I do find them cringy. I think there's sometimes where she can go a little bit over the line and make it something that I'm not personally a fan of. And I think that that's completely fine and valid. Um, However, I mean obviously so much of the criticism of this is that it is too cringy or it's too um I mean people forbid like she's too happy or whatever. However, I think we unfortunately have refused to recognize as people that there is a difference between someone writing a joke and being in on a joke and being unaware that they're joking. And I think a lot of this album is Taylor Swift writing jokes, writing lyrics that are supposed to be funny. Obviously, she's joking. It's smart. She's being funny. You don't have to like it. You can think that her saying New Heights in the song is too on the nose or too cringy, but it's a joke. She's clearly joking. And that's so much of what Katie gets criticized for too when she's, sounding too cringy. There is a bit of joke in she does know that she's trying to be funny. And I think cringy, there is a mindlessness of it that does make it hard to fathom and to like. And I just wanted to say that about the songwriting because I was getting really bothered by just people telling me personally that they thought it was cringy. I'm like, you guys, like these are jokes. We need to understand when someone's being funny. If you don't like the joke and you think it's vulgar or disgusting, I don't know what to tell you.
She's not
Then
being earnest though. Like she's not writing lyrics. It's
no,
like she's bearing her soul.
no, it's yeah. So that's I know I kind of blabbered a
No,
lot,
you did.
but yeah, I'm so happy with this. I have completely loved it. And yes, Marie and I did go to the party at Scarlet, the Taylor Swift night, and it was great. The music was great. It fits so well in the Scarlet atmosphere, and obviously they do such a good job at um
What was the best
just
song? I was so sad I couldn't, because I'm a
yes,
very
Levi was in
like,
tech,
because that's just when
Because
you're
guys,
working
so,
actor.
Levi's a literal showgirl.
yeah, like guys, my name is actually Kitty, and like I kind of do make my money being pretty and witty. Like if you think about it, like the
Yeah.
concept. But what was
Um
the song that was like for both of you? I want to hear the
I
best
mean
like for like a club setting.
it all worked really well for me personally. I think Elizabeth Taylor was such a highlight, I think, for me. And also Wishlist was so good and Would obviously every the songs that everyone because everyone there obviously isn't like the people that we're referencing that are being overly critical. Um which is fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't be overly critical about this, whatever. But everyone there really loved the album, and you could tell. So obviously, the songs that were like funny and funny lyrics that everyone could easily catch on to, I think those were the most fun. So like Wood was really cool. Wishlist was cool. Yeah,
Yeah, I would agree. I think that Elizabeth Taylor was really fun to hear in like a club atmosphere. Just because that song, like I think like those kind of like gliding, glossy piano moments, kind of like throughout the chorus and how it kind of has like the hard drop into the chorus. I think like made it like a really fun theatrical kind of vibe with like
yeah,
being out with friends and dancing and all that sort of stuff. So I would definitely say that that was the highlight for me.
Cool.
yeah,
Well, Maria,
yeah,
on that note, do you want to just tell us your album thoughts?
yeah.
Sure. Not scared at all. But
You don't have a reason to be scared.
no, I know. But yeah, I mean, like, again, like, just to kind of talk about this album, but with just the footnote of like, it's okay to have your own opinion about something without being rude or like purposefully malicious to like people that do enjoy that thing is just like an important skill to have when it comes to media consumption. So it is like really disheartening and disappointing to hear about how like just like the how confident people are in like purposefully wanting to make others unhappy about liking something is just kind of a little bit crazy. And like however you're interpreting Taylor's lyrics like that is your I don't know. I just it's interesting when you kind of hear people like want to like really like get everyone on board with their own interpretation of something when art is just like inherently subjective. Like, if Taylor were to come out and like confirm people's, theories about her lyrics, like I think that would be one thing. But just listening as like a casual enjoyer of music or like a huge Swiftie, like that is just your own personal experience with like lyrics and music and just like the consumption of art. So I don't know. It's always just like an incredibly nuanced conversation when it comes to Taylor because of um her her place in like modern day culture and how big of a platform she has and other people's expectations of her. So yeah, just like really really interesting. It's just like a really interesting conversation to have, especially with kind of like my own point of view of just like being like an incredibly neutral fan of hers. I wouldn't say personally that I've ever gotten to the point of like actually calling myself a Swiftie, but maybe as people who listen would know, like I definitely like really started paying attention and really enjoying her music like in the Folklore Evermore era. And ever since then I've listened to all of her releases as they've been coming out. And like something that you said, Levi, is just like, it's totally cool and normal as person who listens to music to be like, oh, I like this one album from this artist. I like this other one. Maybe these other ones, like, they're not for me, and that's okay. I would 100% define my experience with Taylor Swift like that. It's like so casual and it's it's like just so funny to have such a casual relationship to her music when it really does seem like it's either you have to hate her or you have to love her and like be obsessed with her. So just kind of like being in the middle is sometimes a little bit awkward because I'm like, I don't know, like I just don't have a strong opinion, or I like this and it's cool, I casually enjoy it, or like this just wasn't for me, and then I never felt compelled to hit the play button again. Like that's valid, that can be my experience, and other people can do what they want. It's like I think kind of where I lie. So all that to say, yeah, definitely Folklore Evermore when Taylor gets kind of folksy, singer-songwriter, granola is like my fave. Like that's my jam when it comes to Taylor. I admittedly, I don't think I've honestly, I don't know. This might sound, I don't know if I've ever like mentioned this before, but I don't think any of her releases prior to Folklore I've like actually listened all the way through. Like I think on every album before that, there's like a couple here and there that I'm missing. And yeah, obviously we're going to do the entire Taylor Swift discography at, when one day we'll get there and we'll have talked about every album on the podcast. But yeah, okay. All of that to say, Life of a Showgirl, I had a lot of fun listening to it for the first time with you guys because we were like live texting in our group chat. And again, kind of just to echo what you had said earlier, Levi, or maybe this, I think we were actually talking about this beforehand of like, I love you guys. You guys are so important to me, and just like being part of something that you guys love is an enjoyable experience for me, even if it's not like my favorite album or my favorite artist. So like just like being part of the conversation while we're like, oh my gosh, this lyric, she just said this. Oh my gosh, the song sounds insane. Oh my God, it's so good. Like that is just such a fun conversation to be part of. And especially when we're like sending funny gifts and the whole thing is just like so
Mhm.
fun. So like that experience I just love and cherish so much. Um, but I mean, still, like, this isn't my favorite Taylor album. It's probably not my favorite of like her full-length albums that I've listened to. And like, that's okay, you know? I definitely would say though, it's like probably her most fun sonically of everything since like folklore, you know? Like kind of I love that you mentioned like the glitter pen thing, Levi, because that's like so accurate. And especially with like the font of the album, how it's like the confetti kind of like colored in letters. Like, of course it's fun. And it's definitely the most like kind of like campy, satirical, like lyrical content. As far as like again from like the folklore point on, in my opinion, I'm not sure if you guys would agree with that, but yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun like being in a club setting and listening to it. And there's definitely lyrical moments I liked. Um, I think when it comes to Taylor Swift, the songwriter, I prefer again like that folksy kind of singer-songwriter where like everything feels a little bit more storyteller-esque, like it feels a little bit more earnest in that respect. But again, like with the acknowledgement that like this is not the same as that, like this album is not made in the same vein that like the kind of like the storyteller mode of Folklore and Evermore are. So like, not trying to like compare things that aren't the same, but that's definitely just like the version of Taylor, the songwriter that I prefer. Um, and also just like the sonic quality as well. But there's definitely moments on this that I liked. My favorite song was like an immediate for me. So really excited to talk about that. Um, and yeah, like there's kind of moments on here where like felt a little bit indifferent or maybe just leaning towards like this just isn't for me. I'm like not a huge fan of like how this sounds or like what's going on or the lyrics just like aren't my favorite and all of that sort of stuff, which again is just like my incredibly neutral opinion on all of this and just like as someone who, wants to be part of like, okay, huge Taylor Swift album is coming out, like just pop culture in general, like I want to listen to the album to understand what's going on and just kind of like be with the times, so to speak. So just yeah, very interesting to be, kind of like hearing both sides of the extremes of what people have to say about it. It's always just so perplexing. But but yeah, I think that's everything from me. Yeah, definitely moments on this that I liked. But definitely not my preference when it comes to Taylor Swift songs or albums that I have heard before.
Well, thanks so much for that, Maria. And I really do. I know that like I get silly and like make jokes, but like I really don't ever want you to feel uncomfortable talking to me about like your actual opinions because I know that like anything you say is going to come from like a place of like obviously love, but for me and like I just know that you're not going to be mean. I mean, I think that like people who've been a Taylor Swift fan for a long time like have been there for the ups and downs of her public image. And I think, like being a Taylor Swift fan in 2016 was not easy because people were very, very cruel. And so I definitely think I can sometimes get defensive just because I've kind of had to develop like a kind of shield around myself. But like if you don't like something, you don't like something. And if something's not for you, it's not for you. And I think that is valid. And that's all I've ever asked for people if they don't like Taylor. I only asked like, as long as you are not like calling her a Nazi because she's blonde, then like that's fine. Um, yeah, and I love that you were a part of us texting. I felt the same way. I was asleep because I couldn't stay up that late, but I loved when I woke up the day after Gagachella and saw your live text. I mean, it's that same feeling of like, wow, like this is somebody I care so much about, and like they're so happy. Like that is really important to me. I feel the same way about like both of you and just everyone in my life. And that's why I can get really hurt sometimes when people I care about and people who are close friends of mine maybe don't show that same kind of thing back to me uh, when I feel like I do it for them. So, yeah, thank you so much for your thoughts.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're totally entitled for stuff not to be your fave. Your fave. This
Yeah.
is not an album also that I would listen to and think, oh, this is one that Maria would like. Like, I don't think sonically this is like the most Maria Bay. I don't think narratively it's the most Maria Bay. Like, this is just not the type of if you had like never listened to a Taylor Swift album and I would based on your music taste, like this is not where I would this probably isn't in the top five or of top seven of where I would tell you to go. So like
Yeah.
that's okay. I think that's one of the cool things about having a very varied discography is that you can have different entry points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay. I know I feel like we've been talking for so long, but to get into my thoughts, not about anything else, just the album itself. I also love it. I love it a lot. Do I think it's her best album ever? No. Was I expecting it to be her best album ever? No. Do I think it is her most profound body of work? No. Here's what I think it is. I think it is like 12 pretty bulletproof pop songs. I think she set out to achieve something and I think she achieved it. I think she wrote insanely catchy melodies. I think so many of these choruses go so hard. Like the beat drop of Elizabeth Taylor is genuinely one of my favorite experiences ever listening to Taylor Swift song for the first time. Or when I heard the first chorus of Ophelia for the first time and I was like, "Oh my God, I have to strut, I have to strut, I have to strut." Like there's just so many big fun melodic moments that we haven't really gotten in a while from her because even, with a return to a pop sound of Midnights and then the kind of like alt poppy haze of Tortured Poets, like that big kind of chorus I would say is not really something that we've had since like Lover. I don't know if Drew would disagree with me, but I that's how I would describe it. And so I loved getting to hear that side melodically of Taylor. I love that it's a reunion with Max and Shellback, but it's so different from I think what you would think that would sound like because it is so different from everything that they had worked on together. Like I want to start first with the production because I love that this is such upbeat fun pop that is bombastic and silly, but it's so rooted in acoustic instruments. Like there's not a lot of synths, which is something that she'd been criticized for the last two albums, leaning too heavily into the synth pop with Jack Antonoff. And so I think it's so fun to like hear like Opalite, this big, bombastic, like euphoric pop song, be so shimmery and sparkly and fun without really having all those like analog synths going underneath and like drum pads. Like it's that like really shimmery, pretty electric guitar. And there are these really groovy, funky bass lines. I love the percussion throughout this album. I think that it's not like hard or aggressive or sharp the way that like some like drum beats are, but it's also like not soft. It's like this warm acoustic sound that is big and pronounced, but not like artificial or fake. I love all the guitars. I love the acoustic guitars. I love the electric guitars. I think the electric guitar part on Actually Romantic is so much fun. I love the like random Jackson 5 tribute. And I love that it's also a song about Travis Kelsey's dick being huge. I just think it's like so silly. Like I just love how ridiculous she can be as a pop star. And I think that she has a tendency to be overindulgent, but I really enjoy that. I think it's really fun. And I think she has that all over this record. I think that this record has hints of R&B that in ways that we hadn't really seen from her before. Like I think Honey very much has like a 90s R&B feel with that kind of like trap beat and that piano part. And then there's that like woodwinds in the bridge, which I think is so, so pretty. Uh yeah, so I really love the musical world that they built. Like again, is this my favorite musical world ever? No, but I think it's great and I think it's really fun and it's refreshing and it's new. It's not something she's ever done before. She's never delivered an album that sounds like this. Uh, I kind of agree with Drew that like the highlight for me is the way her voice sounds. I think she sounds amazing here. Max Martin is kind of known for being the best vocal producer in pop music. And I've always loved the way that he produces her vocals. That was a reason why 1989 Taylor's version sometimes felt lacking for me, or I wouldn't go back to it as much because I really missed this like pristine polish that he brings to her vocals. And the way that they produce them here are a lot different because if you listen to 1989, like it's just so like pristine is the only word that I can think of. Like there's no like flaw or anything, and it just sounds like so rich. And here, I think you get a lot more of the natural contours of her voice. I think it like kind of leans more heavily into the breathy quality that she has. But there's also a smoothness. I can't think of the right, I've tried all weekend to think of the right word to describe it, and I can't because it's like, it's not this like polished perfectly angular thing, but it's because there is this warmth and
It's
this natural feeling, but it
it's
also
almost like fluid is how I
fluid.
would
That's a
describe
great
it.
way to describe it. That's a great
Yeah.
way to describe it. Because like you hear like these like kind of like interesting melodies or these riffs that she's doing, and there's such a movement to them, but like you also get like such a warm, natural, like grounded quality. I think my favorite part of the album is that it is somehow both sparkly and glimmery and buoyant and bouncy while also being very grounded and sparse in moments and rooted in reality and earthly. There's an earthy feeling to some of these songs that I really enjoy and wasn't expecting. And yeah, with regards to kind of like the showgirl aesthetic, like, I think people who are expecting like a cabaret jazz album from Taylor Swift maybe don't really understand what we're working with here because I just think that I don't think Max Martin and Taylor Swift are going to write a burlesque record. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but like I think thematically, I find it interesting because it's like the life of a showgirl. Like it's not here are 12 songs about me being on stage every night. It's like a behind the scenes look of like, oh, this big cultural phenomenon that I was at the center of for like 2 years. Well, let me show you what I was feeling and experiencing off stage. And, I love when she writes about fame. I think that she has such a unique perspective on it because she's the most famous person in the world. But I also love when she writes about love. And I think that she's so happy and it makes me so happy. And I think something that's interesting here compared to Lover, which I would say is the most comparable album to this, like there's a lack of anxiety and like an ease to these songs that she doesn't really have on Lover. Lover, like she was so scared of it ending and like so scared that it wouldn't work out. She flirts with that a little bit on Elizabeth Taylor, and she said that Elizabeth Taylor was the first song that she wrote. And then the last song she wrote was Wish List. And I think you can like see this progression of like not needing to feel that anxiety. Like Honey just has this lovely, easy groove to it that is so fun and very sweet and lacking in that like anxiety driven romantic tension. There's none of that. It's just this like beautiful, blissful, euphoric thing. So I adore the record. I'm having so much fun with it. I and I'm sick of having to defend it. I love it. I think it's so much fun. So yeah, it's a Taylor Swift album, and it's a level of pop songwriting that people can't really get to easily. Like there's a reason why she's the unstoppable force that she is. There's a reason why you just can't knock her down. She writes songs that people connect with. She writes melodies that stick. She writes lyrics that get you. Even in a album as like silly and goofy as this one can get at times, I think that there are devastating lyrics here, which I'll talk about a bit more in my top three, or even just lyrics that I find very moving for whatever reason. So she has this description of Travis. It's the last thing I'm going to say. She has this description of Travis on the New Heights podcast interview when she says she calls him depth without darkness. And I would also apply that to this record because I do think that this record has depth and nuance to it, but it's not a dark record at all. And that's a quality that I really like about it. I find that very refreshing. It's very refreshing in her canon. I can't really think of an album that makes me feel the way that this does. And as a Swiftie, I love when the quilt, we get a new patchwork added on the quilt. We get a new flavor in the pot. Like I love when the world of you expands and there's a new iteration of Taylor Swift, the character and artist that we've never gotten before. And I think we got that here. So I'm very happy and I adore it and I love it. And it's so much fun. And There are some career highlights, and let's get into some of that. So we are going to share our least favorite and favorite songs from the record. Our least favorite songs named after the girl itself, me. That's what we call them over here. And so, Drew, what is your me of a showgirl?
Yeah. Well, I just have to say, there's not a me. Like, there's not a me hee hee hoo hoo
No.
on this at all. It's very, very great. But I will say there was one song that I'm still trying to get to wrap my head around. And it's Eldest Daughter. That's gonna be my me. Um, I think it was a little bit of a red herring with the title and it being a track five, which obviously, as Swifties, we come to expect track five to be highly emotional, super vulnerable. And I think it is a very vulnerable song. Um, I just craved a little bit more, and I honestly think I got that highly emotional, highly vulnerable in another track that I think could have been the track five, and maybe we could have done a little switcheroo, and then maybe I would have liked this song more. Because really, it's just a really sweet love song, Eldest Daughter. It's not really about being an eldest daughter. I mean, I think she talks about being an eldest daughter, but I don't think that that's what the song is about. And I think that's what I was expecting a little bit going into it, because she hasn't really written about that in a really emotional way. Um, yeah, so I think that's what I'll just say, and I think I have to wrap my head around it a little more. And it also, I think, is the most, I would say, the song that comes closest to being the sort of cringe that people are saying. I do think that I'm not a bad bitch kind of thing. I think it's really cute, but I think sometimes, okay, like the pitchforks come out to that, whatever the fuck, whatever. So yeah, that's my me. But maybe we'll come around to it later.
Okay, so one for eldest daughter. Maria.
Okay, so my least favorite on the album was like probably it was I think pretty obvious once it started and unfortunately kind of had um like a lot of precedent of like this is going to be the this song on this album. But for me, it's actually romantic.
Mm.
I think for, well, without it even being kind of clouded by like the Taylor versus Charlie, I don't really like how the song sounds all that much. Like it kind of like to kind of ground this in like previous opinions that I've had, like kind of gave me some of the Olivia Rodrigo that I'm like not the biggest fan of.
Yeah,
When
totally.
it kind of gets to like the teeny bopper kind of like angsty moments where it's like that's just not my tea.
Dare I
Um,
say bratty moments at times?
a little bratty at times. But like it's hard to listen to this song with like an objective point of view of like, okay, rather subjective. Of like, okay, like let me try to like not think about this being like a response song to Sympathy is a Knife. I still am not like a huge fan of like the vibe that's going on. And I mean, yeah, just not my favorite. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything else.
Okay. Actually romantic, yours. Mine is also eldest daughter. I think that there are vocal highlights for me on that song. I love the bridge, I think is really beautifully done. And I think there's some harmonies that are so gorgeous. I agree with Drew. Like, for me, it's the we dressed as wolves and we looked fire that I'm like, could we have found a different word? Because I think the lyric before that, every eldest daughter was the first lamb to the slaughter, is really beautiful. And I'm like, why did we have to say it looked fire? And I get it because it's like her trying. It's a song about trying to be cool and just knowing that you're not cool and then finding somebody that you can kind of be innocent with. I just think there's a lot of ideas in the song that don't fully gel together for me. Um, and I think it's a little bit of an outlier sonically because I think it's the only like piano driven moment.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I don't know if we needed a piano driven moment. I don't think it's bad, but yeah, that's what I think about that.
And it also like it being the track five is also
And
just
there's
like
just a level of
so
expectation.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a level of expectation with the track five. And I just don't think it is in the same caliber as the other ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let's get into our holy trinities. Drew.
Okay. I my like top nine songs have really just done the switcheroo this whole weekend just because it's so great. And it's even changed like from 2 p.m. today and we're recording at 5. My number three is Father Figure.
Ooh.
I am obsessed with this idea. Um, yeah, I'm obsessed with the idea of the song. I think it's great how she kind of goes. It's obviously a Scott Shade song. How she goes from, talking about him, or her writing from his point of view of her, and then her just completely flipping it. I think it's like, it's a almost like continuation of The Man, but in a more specific way that I just find so compelling. And because The Man to me, I love that song, but I do think there are some moments of that song where I'm like, okay, like maybe some more specificity to it wouldn't make the song soar. And yeah, I think she nailed this song, Father Figure. And I think it's a point of view to the album that expands it from being, just about, and it's so much about fame. I mean, there's songs about obviously her dealing with the fame with Charlie XCX, coming for her, but then there's also her being in this relationship with someone, but then there's also this her really owning being a boss and her really owning being the most famous person. um yeah, and it to me it felt like a little bit of like chapter end of that. Like I'm sure she'll always be thinking about what happened to her, but it felt like she's so like I won the war,
And she
and
did. Like
that's
objectively, she did.
yeah. And so I found it really compelling. And that bridge, the lyrics in the bridge are so amazing. Definitely one of my highlights. So yeah, that's my number three. My number two is actually Wish List. I cannot get over her vocals in that song. I would go as far to say I think it might be like a top five Taylor Swift vocal performance in a song for me. Um, the way it's also produced is just so amazing. It's not really like, because a lot of how it's produced too, her like vocal moments are almost like in the background,
Yeah, they're so like the when she's like really
which
belting.
yes, which is like it really shook me and it's really grown. And I know she said that as of now it's her favorite on the album, which is so cool. Um yeah, I just love her. I love how happy she is. I love how she's writing about it. And I love that she's able to write about it and just it be super compelling and really sweet. Yeah. And then my number one is the greatest song of all time, Elizabeth Taylor. Truly cannot fathom this song. Yeah. I mean, there are quite literally no words. I screamed out loud when I listened to it for the first time. I cannot believe that she sings I Cry My Eyes Violet, Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah,
She's a crazy human and
quite alarming.
quite alarming. And one of the hardest I've ever laughed at anything this whole weekend is Chats and Reacts, who Levi and I love, our favorite Swiftie reactors. When they reacted to the song, they were like, "Oh, because when you cry a lot, your eyes turn red and her eyes are blue. So the red and the blue mix and they make purple, and that's why she's saying I cry my eyes violet."
Okay, I kind of do think that is part of it though. I mean, obviously Elizabeth Taylor had violet eyes, but I kind of do think it's a double thing because that's so her to write. That's such a
That is so her. But I just thought it was so funny that like they didn't immediately go to the fact that Elizabeth Taylor
had violet
has purple
eyes.
eyes.
I my favorite part of their reaction was that they didn't know that Wood was a dirty song.
Yes, it took a minute.
Not until the end. They were like, "Whoa." And they thought that it hadn't been said before, that like
Yeah.
refrain thing.
Yeah. So that's my top three. I really am sad that some didn't make it, but yeah, I'm sure some of the ones will be in Levi's or Maria's, but
Okay,
yeah, really strong.
Miss Maria.
Whoa. Okay. So we're gonna here's some familiar songs. So my number three is Elizabeth Taylor.
I mean,
So
of course.
classic. Well, like this was like one of the most like fun parts of the album for me. So I really liked that song again. Like I really love the piano on the song so much. It's just like so pretty. My number two is Father Figure. Because of course, as we know, this would be my performance song if we were to,
Yes, we established
have
that if
have a
a drag show.
cabaret. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like I think the interpolation is like really fun to listen to, and I think like her stacked vocals on the chorus is really enjoyable. So, love that. And then my number one, like I said before, it was just like a very obvious, and just like instantaneous, like, oh my gosh, this one's my favorite was Ruin the Friendship. So yeah, I loved how this was kind of like a little bit of like an indie pop kind of moment. And also is like kind of in a little bit more of that like storyteller narrative kind of bag with this one too. So yeah, definitely a big fan of that one.
Well,
So
and
that's
you,
my
I
top
think
three.
you also get that with Father Figure too, because it's like her
Yeah.
writing from a character and like all of that stuff,
Yeah.
which I also think is very like folklore evermore of like a perspective that's not her own.
Hmm.
Which I will say does not exist on these albums that people are writing for, saying that it doesn't compare to 1989 and rap. Songs like Ruin the Friendship and Father Figure, those are songs that do not exist
No.
on albums like that. So just saying. And her vocals do not go as high. So I'm just
Drag.
saying,
No, Maria, that's a great, excellent top,
yes, fantastic top three.
fantastic top three. And so
Thanks.
it's
Thanks.
honestly kind of exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I would have been
Well,
gagged if you'd
yeah.
been like canceled, honey, would.
Honey was actually pretty close.
I love Honey.
I also love where it's placed in the album. I think it's a really nice,
Yeah.
like, kind of like getting us ready for the finale.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So I want to say my four, I can't justify putting it at three, but I just want to shout out because I just don't think it's been getting enough love from the five people that like the album. Uh, I love the title track. And I think I find it very moving. And I think I'm just in a place in my life where I can just it resonates a lot with me and my goals for the future and what I'm working towards. And I think it's a really lovely ending. And I think their vocals are amazing together. And I love the storytelling and it has some of the album's standout lyrics for me. But my number three, if this song isn't number one for 10,000 weeks, I'm going to be so pissed. I think she nailed the first single. I think The Fate of Ophelia is a perfect choice for a first single, for an album opener. I think it pulls you into this world. That chorus is just dynamite. And I think that song is so replayable because every time I've started the album, when that song ends, I'm like, I kind of just want to listen to that again. It is so energetic and fun. I love that it's like another twist on Shakespeare, obviously after Love Story. I think her vocals are so good on the song. I think that Keep It 100 on the Land, the Sea, the Sky part is so catchy. I can't stop singing it. But then I also think there's some really beautiful imagery in the verses. I love this lyric of and if you never had come for me, I might have drowned in the melancholy. I love love was a hotbed of a cold bed of scorpions. The venom stole her sanity. Like I think there's just some really beautiful and elegant lyricism here. I love the Keep It 100 part because 87, which is Travis Kelce's jersey number, plus 13, Taylor's number is 100,
100.
which I think is really, I find that like, I think that people might find that corny, but I find that very sweet. I find it very, very sweet. And I just adore that song. My number two, the diva that's already been mentioned multiple times. I mean, I love to cry my eyes violet. I do it all the time. I was doing it last night. I cry my eyes violet constantly. It is just like that chorus that I got scared. I was scared when I listened to it for the first time because it has this like really dreamy, orchestral, luxurious, cinematic feeling in the verses with the way that like these strings are over these like pianos and the minor chords. And then that chorus hits, and you're like, this shit is in different areas. This is not something they just made. This is crazy. That chorus, it's just so good. I know Opalite will probably be the next single. I want it to be Elizabeth Taylor, but I do think it will be Opalite, which is a very great song. But I just think Elizabeth Taylor deserves to like
I want to cry my eyes violet, and I
put
want the video.
it literally gets, oh, I need a video for Elizabeth Taylor so bad. So bad. I need to cry my eyes out, Violet. Okay, real quick, I'm taking a sip of water. Say something.
Crying violet.
Okay, I'm back. And then my number one, same with Maria. It was a lock the second I heard it. Um, the second I heard it, second I started, I was like, this is my favorite. And it's also the same song. It is Ruin the Friendship. I find it, I'm kind of getting choked up even thinking about it. I find it insanely moving. And it's probably an immediate top 10 Taylor song for me. I think it is like, if I had to show somebody one song from this album that explains my love for Taylor Swift, I would show this. Because I think first, like, it is very distinctly showgirl in a lot of aspects. The way that it's produced, the sound of the bass, the sound of the drums, the way the vocals are stacked and produced, and this like fluid, breathy quality in the vocals feels very distinct to this world that she's created. It's a thing that she's never explored before. She's never like talked specifically about this like concept. It's something that's very interesting and it brings in something new to the record. And I think it ties in very thematically in a way I'll get into in a second. But it also has like the kind of storytelling that makes her song so special. And she's been doing this since debut, where she'll like the first verse establishes a story and into the first chorus, second verse, the story progresses, more character development into the second chorus, and then the bridge, there's a plot twist and something happens and the narrative shifts. And that launches us into the final chorus. And I just think that the structure of this song is so elegantly done. I think that I love that it's a bait and switch and that you spend the majority of it thinking it's this just very fun, wistful, nostalgic, aw, sweet song. And then it turns devastating. I love that Abigail's messy ass is always present when some shit is going down. I love that this is now the second like devastating like plot twist in a bridge that Abigail has been a part of after 15, of course. I think her vocal on that bridge when she goes talks about flying home and like that's probably my favorite vocal moment on the album. I think that the tone that she sings in is just so stunning and soft and pure and beautiful and emotional. And I think this concept of like having an unanswered question that you're happy with where you ended up in life, but like you'll just never know because you never got the opportunity to know. And this idea of like, in this moment, I hesitated and I didn't say what I really felt. And look where it got me. I'm just going to live my life not doing that, which I think is kind of where she is in the rest of the album. And I think it's an exploration, an example of why she dives so headfirst into things and into relationships because she had this experience where she hesitated and she decided against it. And now she'll just never know. And in a lot of ways, that can be worse than knowing. And I think my favorite lyric on the album is my advice is always answer the question, better that than to ask it all your life. I think that lyric is so beautiful and like perfectly Taylor. Yeah, it's just such a special song to me. It's very special to me. So yeah, ruin the friendship forever.
Oh,
Yay.
Okay, let's get our utensils out. And
Yeah.
Maria, you have no reason to be nervous. You can put whatever you want. I don't want you to feel nervous. Because I know I gave you PTSD. I know I gave you the shakes in Torture Poets. You don't have to do
The
that.
thing is, you didn't do that to me. I did it to myself. Like I got myself worked up thinking that you would have like an atomic reaction to me like not liking Florida, but you were like so chill with it.
I think
So
if you had like given Torture Poets like a 0, then maybe I would have been like, I don't know if that's fair. Because like I can't even think of like I think to be a 0, I think it would have to be like you'd have to like be singing off key and like it would have to be poorly made, in my opinion, to like get to that level. Um,
yeah.
no, so you can I just feel bad if I've ever done anything that makes you feel like you can't be honest. So
No, not at all.
okay, Drew Fork, get us started.
I'm gonna go in at a 9.8.
Love it.
T.
See?
Anything else to add or just that?
Just that.
Okay, Maria.
Cool. Well, I did enjoy my experience with this. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of revisiting of the entire thing. As I said before, definitely tracks on this that were clear standouts and that I did quite enjoy.
I mean,
Um,
because you have the most taste of anybody alive, because you know that Ruin the Friendship is the greatest song to ever be written in the history of humanity.
exactly. You put the ruin with the friendship and it's
And it's
just good.
just good. It's just good.
Um, with my rating though, since there's so much Taylor Swift that I haven't listened to intentionally in its entirety, like I definitely want to leave some room numerically for me to like other Taylor albums more than this. So I'm going to go with a 7.
7. I think that's very fair with how you described your feelings.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do with mine. Okay.
Okay.
Y'all dumb pissed me off. And I have been pissed the fuck off. And I think I would have given it a different score if y'all had acted like normal fucking humans and had not accused me of the things that people have been accusing me of in my DMs. Okay? This is a protest score because I'm pissed the fuck off. Bitch, it's 10. Fuck y'all. I don't want to hear it from nobody. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I'm giving it a 10 because I love it. And that's what I want to do. And if y'all want to talk about it, I don't want to hear it because I've heard enough chatter and I hate it. And I don't want to hear no shit from nobody. Don't talk to me about it. I'm turning red thinking about it. Ugh.
Ed.
Don't talk to me about it. And it's also I'm trying to compare it and be like, I do think this is my favorite record released. And I gave Who's the Clown a 10 and Virgin a 10. So I feel like I kind of have to, but also because I was thinking, okay, you know what? Like I want to be fair and like also kind of what Maria was talking about. Like there are Taylor albums that I like ahead of this that like I want to like I feel like I don't want to just give every Taylor album a 10. But I reached a point today when I was thinking about it after the movie. I was like, I'm just too pissed at this point, and like this my protest. And you know what? It's my right, and it's my podcast, and I can do whatever the hell I want. Um, I like that there's a song about Travis Kelce's big ass dick, and I like that she is happy in her life. I like it all. Maybe I'm Kitty. I'm Kitty in my name. I'm pretty and witty. Huh? Ever thought about that? So it's a 10.
Dare I say, get over it.
Get over it. Get over it. Losers.
We have
Losers.
other episodes that you can listen to.
Well, not a lot that I'm not giving 10s to because I do like to give 10. I love to love things. I love
It's
to.
across the board, 10.
Honestly, though, do you know what I thought about? I am not really a hater, and I actually like that about myself. I don't like hating. I hate when I hate something. I never like to not like something. And I know so many people like get off on not liking things, and I just think that's like it just sounds miserable to just like be excited to have negative emotion. I always want to like everything because I think liking things are so much more fun than not liking things. I mean,
Whoa,
I think
Fuck
crazy.
it. I resonate with that so much.
and I always get confused when people are like hate listen or hate watch things. It's like if I don't like something, I'm not going to engage with it or talk about it or spend any energy interacting with it because
Time is too precious, life is too precious
life is too
than to
precious.
spend it actively seeking out things to hate and being rude to people.
Like
Just
I could be
stop.
listening to Ruin the Friendship and experience songcraft only achieved by Mozart, but actually better. Or I could spend energy listening to some album from an artist I don't like. I don't even like to talk about like artists I don't like because I just don't do it. It's just not, I'm not into it at all. I mean, it's just not for me. Okay,
Yeah.
everyone. So the average score, very Taylor, it's an 89, 8.93. And I actually like, Maria, that you hold my hand tanked because now it's 89. And the numerology of it is, I love it. It's amazing. It's perfect. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. I think it's very fair. I mean, obviously, Drew and I loved. I know, Maria, like this just isn't, I just know the music you like. And I just would not be like, Maria's a showgirl because you're not. You're not a showgirl. I am excited for when we do Reputation, I am very excited for that. I have a
Oh, yeah.
feeling that, you know, that big Reputation might be something you like. I kind of do. That's how I feel. That's what I feel.
I mean, boop.
I
I'm
also,
ready for it. Are you
also
ready for it?
oh, and we already know the lore. I She also kind of gives me red, which I know is controversial to some of the pop girlies, but Maria does. You just give me red to me. I just don't know why. You're just so red. I can't even stand it.
Ugh, can't even stand it.
Can't
Okay,
even.
Well,
so Drew, where are we going next week?
So next week we're doing something really brave. Um we're listening to an album by a man.
Whoa.
Whoa. So next week we're gonna do an artist that I've mentioned a few times on the pod, but we haven't done his any of his music, and so I'm really excited. So we're gonna do his I would say breakout album, Shawn Mendes by Shawn Mendes. Um, so yeah, that's what we're doing next week. So
Yay, man.
yay, exciting.
Okay, guys. Well, we had it. We've done it. I'm gonna go keep it 100 on the land, the sea, and the sky.
Whoa.
I gotta go cry my eyes violet.
I gotta go be actually romantic.
Okay, guys. Catch you next time, showgirls.
Bye,
Bye.
Shanti.